we're going to show you more in this program. And we have a guest, Mr. Guo Ping. And why don't you say hello to our viewers? Good afternoon. So we're at the entrance of Qingcheng Mountain. So many can see the gate, but many would ignore the little sculptures on the roof. Yes, we can see a lot of legendary figures like Naja. And most importantly, we have the story, the legendary story, 8 immortals crossing the sea. And yes, these 8 immortals, they are standing on the roof, and because of the corrosion of times and the a little bit worn out, but you can still distinguish each and every one of them. And you can see this is Naja. He is standing on firing wheels. And these 8 immortals, and they can be found on the roof of buildings. And why is that? Well, this is because, number one, these are household stories, and the Qingcheng Mountain is also one of the birthplaces of Taoism. And so Taoism believed that we have to follow the pattern of the nature. And now let's walk into the Qingcheng Mountain. And I can feel very strongly that the temperature here is pretty pleasant. And I can feel how tranquil and how peaceful it is. And that is the distinct feature of this place. Exactly, and because this is a large place throughout the season. It's a UNESCO World Heritage, a natural reserve. It's also a mythical mountain. In legendary stories, and the Ming Dynasty, it was renowned as one of the 80 most famous mountains across the country. And it's also a place that is believed to have gathered all the immortal beings. And so it has become a very heavenly and mythical place. And China's very first emperor, Xuanyuan, is believed to have beaten the other competing emperor from here. And this is a place that is like a fairyland, and it's surrounded by fogs, and there is a particular atmosphere in this tourist site. Yes, it's truly like a fairyland, and that is the unique feature of this mountain. And you can see all the trees in green color, and this is truly fantastic. And if you come into here, you will feel that you yourself have become immortal. And yes, that is why a lot of visitors choose to come here, because they want to be associated with those mythical paradise. Liu Dongbin is a very well-known figure here, and his favorite place is Qingcheng Mountain, and so that is why we have a sculpture of him here. And he's also a famous poet, and he left a poem for Qingcheng Mountain, actually. These beautiful verses are in praise of the beautiful scenery and mythical fairyland of Qingcheng Mountain. And in the movie, you can see Liu Dongbin quite often. And Liu Dongbin paid a particular visit to Qingcheng Mountain. And here we have a performer in a role of Liu Dongbin. Well, if you have some online purchase record that is relevant, you can come here and claim a ribbon, and you can tie the ribbon on one of the trees in the mountain to express your wishes, and you can also tie it to your vehicle and your bags, and you can be sure to harvest the good blessings of Li Dongbin. I wish you great health. Thank you very much. And so when will this program end? And we will not end until the end of August. And you just need to book a ticket online, and you will be able to claim a ribbon from here. And this will energize your climbing the stairs. So let's have a word with one of the tourists. I think this is a fantastic place, and through the All Wishes Come True, the standout film, we learned a little bit of the story of the 8 immortals. The 8 immortals, they all used their own mythical tools to cross the river. And let's say that again. So when you come here, and you can, claim a ribbon here and take it to the very top of the mountain, and will that bring you a lot of relevance to the movie? Yes, indeed, because with the ribbon I can climb to the very top of the mountain, and I can see the statue of Li Dongbin. Well, that's fantastic. So what else do you have apart from Li Dongbin? And we have a very ancient tree. This is the Jingle tree, and you can find it at the top of the mountain. I won't disclose its specific location, and you will have to find it yourself. But this is very careful design, and with this red ribbon, they can go up the mountain and find the statue of Li Dongbin. And this is a very comprehensive place in terms of accommodation. And in the downtown center of cities in Sichuan, there are a lot of promotions and activities and events. And so if you have a purchase record showing that you have watched the movie All Wishes Come True, you can enjoy a discount to all those places. And you can tie that to the Jingle trees. And the Jingle tree is one very important element of that movie. And I'm very sure that the tree must be tied with countless such ribbons. Yes, because the Jingle tree was believed to be planted by one of the immortals in 143 BC, and that was known as the birth tree, the very first tree in the entire Sichuan province. Well, because it's an ancient tree, it's very thick, and we have to, preserve that tree and protect it very well. So we won't be able to tie the ribbon actually on the tree itself, but we will have a simulated tree, and beside the tree is the Tianshi cave, or celestial master cave. They are one combination. So we have an ancient cave and an ancient tree, and that is adding the mythical vibe of the Qingcheng Mountain. Yes, indeed, because the architecture in Qingcheng Mountain is pretty unique, because we have this harmony between man and nature. And we have a lot of pavilions on both sides of the stairways, and these are for most famous pavilions in China, because they use the roots of the tree as one ornament, and they go along very well with the nature. So this is showing the Taoist belief that man are an integral part of nature. Truly, this is a mythical place, and so that is why Qingcheng Mountain frequently appears in movies such as the Kung Fu Panda and also the Journey to the West, and they all gained inspiration and casting scenes from here. And so in front of us is the Erwang Temple, and so that is in memory of one of the immortal beings of the 8 immortals, which is Erlangshen. So at different movies, Erlangshen shows different characters, and in the All Wishes Come True, that was a negative figure, but in another movie, it's a positive figure. So how come this figure has different images in different movies? Well, because we have different legends across different regions, and so that is why the figure is portrayed differently in different literature works. Because in literature works, we emphasize contradiction and controversies, and Erlangshen is a immortal being that was originated from the Qingcheng Mountain, and it helped Li Dongbin in accomplishing a lot of the architecturals. And Erlangshen, for example, he designed a lot of techniques of exploring reserves from the mountains. So these legends have added to the vibe of the story, and in the journey to the west, before Monkey King came, there was a poem written for Erlangshen. And every time Erlangshen comes into the play, he would introduce himself with this household verse. So Erlangshen is closely associated with Dujiangyan, which is a very famous place in Sichuan province. And Qingcheng Mountain is made of red soil and earth. And if you look at the image of Erlangshen, you can also find this red elements. So, and Erlangshen has the 3 eyes, and it is known that his third eye is somehow relevant to the founder of the ancient Shu kingdom. And Erlangshen is a heroic figure containing the floods, and he came into Dujiangyan and to help deliver the water resources management and the dam. And so we're here at the temple in memory of Erlangshen. And so this is the dog that accompanies him in all the literature. So Dujiangyan is a world heritage, and you're here, you can tour around the dam, and you can also come here into the deep of the Qingcheng Mountain and pay a visit to the temple and take a look at this pavilion. And it's part of nature, and on each layer of the roof, and there are grasses, so they're just part of nature. And the pavilions are closely correlated with the trees. Just seeing this would remind you the image of a legendary figure sitting beneath and inside. And so in Qingcheng Mountain we have a fairyland style environment. This is a mythical paradise. We have 8 caves, 36 palaces, and also over 100 mini caves. So that is why this is a place that is known to be able to accommodate a lot of the immortal beings in Chinese legend. In downtown Chengdu, you can find a lot of places whose names are inspired by the 8 immortals. For example, Qingyang. At Qingyang, we have 3 bridges, and each is named after a immortal being. For example, Wangxian Bridge, Yuxian Bridge, and also Songxian Bridge. So they refer to overlooking the immortals encountering the immortals and sending off the immortals respectively. So this is truly inspiring a lot of imagination. So we know how we welcome the immortal figures from literature works. So this is the Erxian Bridge. So the Erxian Bridge, which literally translates into the Dual Immortals Bridge. And right now, you can see that it has been transformed into an industrial park. And Lü Dongbin is a household name in Sichuan. He has left a lot of footsteps and prints. And Quingyang Guan is another name inspired by Lü Dongbin because Quingyang is his nickname. So many places are inspired by Lü Dongbin, and we also have a Quingyang Temple, which is another place in honor of Lü Dongbin. So Lü Dongbin not just left a footprint in the deep of the mountain, but also in downtown center of Chengdu. Although the Quingyang Temple no longer existed, but you still have a place that is named Quingyang Temple. So this is truly very spectacular, and because at a certain period of history, we used to be a place suffering from drought, and because of the Dujiangyan Dam, we are a place blessed by sufficient irrigation and water. It is exactly because of the abundance of water that we are a place accommodating all the immortal figures. And in Qingcheng Mountain, we are also known as a place of longevity. Here you can find a lot of elderly at the age of over 100. And we believe that they are blessed by the immortal beings from ancient times. And in a lot of the museums, and you can see the 8 immortals in puppet shows and in traditional opera. And so they are truly incorporated into every element of our society, because people have a very high aspiration of leading a lifestyle just like those immortals. And on the other hand, their story of helping the poor has truly touched the ordinary people. And we learned that the film was produced in a cultural park that is in Sichuan, and because this is a Sichuan-produced movie, it has integrated a lot of elements related to Sichuan. Yes, there are a lot of elements in that movie that are from Sichuan, and the production team is from Sichuan, and a lot of the scenes were cast here. A lot of the stories originated from here. And in the 80 Models movie, and we even have a hot pot. So hot pot is a category of cuisine that allows gourmets to put in whatever they like, and it can be spicy, it can be very delicious, it can be organic, it can be very diverse. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Guang, and thank you for your introduction. And we learned how Sichuan is correlated to the movie All Wishes Come True. And when you are in Sichuan, do come to those places, for example, the Qingyang Palace, the 3 bridges that I mentioned, and also the Tianfu Plaza, and take a visit to the Tianfu Museum. And also you can go to Quingyang Street and Quingyang Temple. And after covering all those places, you have pretty much covered the downtown area. And then I advise you to spend 2 days in the Qingcheng Mountain, and you can also take a brief visit to the Dujiang Dam. And if you wish to watch that movie, now is the time, and so you can go into the cinema and check out the movie. Dear viewers, I'm He Weigong from CMG, and welcome to our program. I'm right now coming to you live in Datong of Shanxi, and during this summer holiday, the movie Our Wishes Come True has become a standout film, and one of the scenes in that movie was in the Hanging Temple in Datong of Shanxi, and it was built originally for Lu Dongbin, and in that movie, and also in this temple, we had a lot of murals that are very sophisticated. And another place in that movie was the Hanging Temple. And let's take a deep dive into this place and see how it has inspired the movie. And this is truly a very fantastic place, attracting a huge number of tourists. And I have a guest today, the dozer from this place, Li Dongxue. Good afternoon, I'm Li Dongxue, and it's a great pleasure to show you a little bit of the Hanging Temple. And you can see, truly, this is a place that is very packed, and so we have a little booklet to serve as our guide, and let's walk into the Hanging Temple. And what you can see is an aerial view of this entire temple. So this is a temple with the smallest gate across and among all the temples in China. And so, because the movie has been so successful, many tourists are inspired by the movie and they decide to come to those famous temples physically. So we are right now at the first level, and the Han Temple has defied gravity, and it has attracted a huge number of visitors each and every year. So why the Han Temple has inspired so many movies, and it has become a casting scene for so many movies? Well, because it's suspended between heaven and earth, and you can see that it blends seamlessly with the rugged cliff face, and it has been here for over 1,500 years. Well, because it's a natural beauty, and there is also a lot of cultural significance, and it's a mixture of Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism, and so that is why it's so popular among the Chinese. So you mentioned that there is a drum tower and a bell tower, but in this temple, and we actually combine them together. And so when in the morning we would strike the bell, and in afternoon we would beat the drum. So that is why bell tower for the morning and drum tower for the afternoon. So this is two signals to indicate the time, and they follow the same architectural pattern. And you can see that drum towers and bell towers are so popular across many cities in China. And so this is one of the scenes borrowed by the movie, which is come true, or the 18 Mottos. And you can see that this is one of the palaces. It is exactly from here that the movie cast a scene, because that temple was built in honor of Lu Dongbin, one of the 18 Mottos. And you can see a lot of columns, and what you may think that those columns defying gravity, but no, this is not the case, and they were not there in the first place, and they were only added on the later stage. So this is just an insurance, and the temple, the Han Temple, was actually supported by the horizontal beams. So in ancient times, and the architectures were very smart, and they put the screw deep in the mountain in a hole, and they put the horizontal beams inside, and they put layers of buildings on top. So that is why we have Han temples, and so this is a graph that I have, and so what they do is that they put 1/3 of the length of the column inside, and so there is a slit cut open at one end of the beam, and they put in another beam. When you push it from the outside, it will only clinch the mountain in a very fixed way. And so this is the Han Temple, and you can see that it's truly placed in between heaven and earth, and the entire temple is built upon those horizontal beams. So the first character of this temple is, of course, Han. And then the second character is, it's very spectacular and very strange. Why? Because if you take a look at the entire layout of this temple, and it's been here for over 1,500 years, and you don't have too much exposure of the sunshine or wind, because it's hidden in the cave of the mountain, and so it nestles in a very special place in the mountain. And so this is where we are right now. And so take a look at the direction of the wind. And so it's actually in a cave of the mountain. And because of this, it enjoys protection from both sides of the mountain ridges, and you don't have fallen stones, and you don't have wind blowing right in that direction. So it's also quite unique because of its architectural styles. And take a look at the stairway, and it's so narrow that you have to tread very carefully when you climb up. So it's hanging in the mountain, and it's located in a very strange place with natural protection by the mountain ridges, and you don't get too exposed in the sunshine or in strong gusts of wind. And take a look at the architectural style, and it's also so unique. And so this is truly hanging in between the earth and heaven, right in the middle of the mountain slopes, almost a right angle attached right to the mountain, and it's truly defying gravity, and it's perched dramatically on a sheer cliff. And now we are entering the second courtyard of the temple. And so we're showing you the third floor, which we are going to reach in a few minutes. And from this angle, you can see it's truly hanging in the middle of the mountain, and it's truly very risky from this angle. And you can see we have one very thick beam beneath to defy the gravity. And if you are afraid of height, do not come here. But please be rest assured that this is a very safe destination for tourists. We have handrails, and sometimes you have to lean your body just to pass through. And another feature of the Han Temple lies in its craftsmanship. So this is so smartly crafted. The entire space is not so big, but when you are here, it actually takes some time for you to, before you can, cover every spot. And it followed an ancient scripture called Crafts Book, which was written by Lu Ban from the spring and autumn period. And from this angle, you can see that our tourists, they are going down very carefully. So this is the third feature of this temple, and it's so cramped, but it's very sophisticated. We have over 80 statues of Buddhas, and so as small as it is, it's actually very sophisticated inside. And we do have a lot of very strange structures. Some of them seem to have grown out from the mountains. And take a look at this very sophisticated beam. And so it's defying the gravity. In Shanxi, we do have a lot of ancient wooden sculptures, wooden structures. And so this is a system of brackets inserted between the top of a column and a cross beam. And so take a look at this drawing. And you can see a beam, you can also see a cross beam and a brackets inserted in between the column and the cross beam. And so it's very beautiful, and it's also physics that works in very challenging environment, and so we are very close to that system. And on our right, you can actually touch this system. So you can see that this one must be touched by so many tourists. And on an ordinary visit, you can only see this sophisticated structure from a distance, but it is only here that you can lay your hand on one of those and have a close hands-on experience. So what are the fantastic places to take a photo here? Well, most would choose to take a shot at the Drum Tower and Bell Tower, but we believe that if you lean to a little bit to the right, then you can see the entire layout of the structure. So that is when you just cross the entrance gate, and also when you are walking here, you can touch the ancient window and frame, and so you're very close to what is preserved by nature after 1,500 years, and it's very smart. It's well crafted. It's also very unique and dangerous. Although it's nestled in between rocked cliff, and after that, well, let me tell you that when the wind blows, we have ventilation systems installed in this hanging temple, and the wind would flow through. And let me tell you that when you come here for a visit, you can only follow one-way roads, and you cannot, go back and forth, and you have to follow one designated route. So this is designed as such to protect the ancient structure. So as the movie, the 80 models are going viral, and this place is truly attracting an increasing number of visitors. And so have you taken any measures to protect the structure? Well, we have two visit routes, and so one route is just as usual, and you can book a ticket and follow the crowd and go along the roads. And so we allow for a pleasant experience for all the visitors, and beneath the temple, and you can already see the long lines of visitors. And so we advise everybody to closely follow the rules here and pay particular attention to safety. So everybody has a lot of curiosity about the real image of Lu Dongbin, because those Taoist figures, they have a laid-back attitude. And take a look at the location of this temple. It's very quiet, and it's built for those laid-back immortal figures. And so when we are introducing this place, we would do a little adjustment, and we would highlight the lifestyle of Lu Dongbin and those immortal figures in the Taoist religion. And so this is designed as such to bring more knowledge to the ordinary visitors about ancient architectures in China and legendary stories of the nation. And all right, we are now going downstairs, and you can see that the handrail is so polished by the hands of tourists, and this is so cramped, but it's well crafted to be able to stand the test of the times. All right, now we are going back to the first courtyard. So this is truly very crowded at this time of the year, because everybody is making the most of the summer holiday. All right, dear viewers, again, I'm He Weitong. I'm with CMG, and we are here at the Han Temple at Datong of Shanxi Province. As we just learned, because of the architectural style and the profound history embedded, the Han Temple has attracted a lot of movie directors to shoot here. And so this is the summer holiday. Truly, this is the peak season for tourism, and the temple has taken multiple measures to better regulate the travel experience of visitors, and also it has highlighted the introduction about elements related to the movie. And that's all from Shanxi, and I will hand it off to my colleague. Recently, there is one viral movie named All Wishes Come True, inspired by the legendary story of the 80 models. But this is a place that is very related to the life of ordinary people, and in Shanxi province, we have more than a few temples that have become the casting scenes of that movie, and one of them is Yongle Palace in Yuncheng of Shanxi province. So this is where we are right now, and I have a guest, the dozer from Yongle Temple, Miss Yang, and thank you, Miss Yang, for joining us. And hello and welcome to our program. And you can take a look at this photo, and the one in the top is from the movie, and the one at the bottom is just this entrance. And take a look at this wooden board. So this is the entrance from decades ago, and it was originally written by Zheng Lin, and who was once the vice governor of Shanxi province. So right now we are called Yongle Palace, but originally we are called Qingcheng Palace, and Qingcheng is the nickname of Lu Dongbin, one of the 80 models. And in the movie, and among the 80 models, and Lu Dongbin stands out. So that is why we have a lot of places inspired by the name of Lü Dongbin. And yes, Yongle Temple and Yongle Palace, among others. So we truly have a great number of places inspired by the nickname of Lü Dongbin. And also on April the 14th, we have some activities held in his honor. Yongle Palace has existed for more than 800 years. And can you give us a brief introduction of the history of the palace? Yes. Originally, it was a temple, and over the years, it was elevated into a palace. And the son of Genghis Khan elevated this place, and in historic records, it shows that it was originally in a different place, but because of the rise of the water level and this place risked being submerged. So that is why between 1957 and 1966, we spent roughly 10 years to relocate the temple here. And while doing the relocation and renovation, now we try to preserved the original layout and the characteristics of the temple. Well, this is a relocated and renovated temple, preserving 100% the original layout and structure. So this is truly remarkable. And this is the entrance gate from Yuan Dynasty, and it's called the Wuji Gate. And we had elements such as the dragon and tiger. So it's not just the gate, it's also a palace. And take a look how big it is. And so this wooden board was from Yuan Dynasty. And originally it was inscribed by one of the famous military generals in Yuan Dynasty. So truly, this palace has been around for quite some time, and so it must have gone through a lot of renovations and refurbishment. Yes, this is routine maintenance. Well, this is also like a performance stage. Yes, it is, and you just need to put a layer of wooden board, and you can transform this into a opera stage. So this is showing how smart the original designers were. And in Shanxi province, now we have a lot of wooden opera stages. And we have Guandi temples, and we have many temples following the same pattern of architecture. And on both sides right now, we have two giant stone monuments. And so this is the Yuan Dynasty Palace Monument, originally from 1262. And the one on our right was erected in Qing Dynasty. And it carries the history of this palace. So this is the Wuji, after the Wuji Gate, and this is the Wuji Palace. And so this is the first gate, and so after passing this gate, you are officially inside the temple. And you can see the level of the structure, which is quite spectacular. And so take a look at the general design of the roof, and it's just like a bird ready to take off with both of his strong wings. And this is 5 to 6 meters in width. And take a look at the ornaments on both edges of the roof, and it's just like a giant bird ready to embrace the sky. And on the curved edges of the roof, we have 6 little animals as an ornament, and we also have 2 stone lions in front of the palace, and they carry a different facial expression from the other lions that you normally see. But later we will have more fantastic designs of stone lions behind. So the Yungle Palace is the most important landmark building in this palace. So it also carries a lot of murals on the walls. It's quite artistic, and over the years, so the mural features the worship of 290 intellectual figures for Laosis, which is the founder of Taoism. And you can see that we have this very sophisticated wooden structures, and we also have preserved the mineral elements for over 800 years. And for the sake of cultural relic preservation, the murals were not allowed for photos, but let me just describe how the murals look like. And so we have a booklet that shows you the full picture of the murals, and later we can expect some fantastic patterns and lines from the booklet, and you can truly see more from the booklet instead of the real walls. All right, and so this is the table that shows you what the murals are like. So this is what I just described, and it's 4.4 meters tall, and it's 97 meters long, and you can see that the Chinese traditional painting attaches great importance to patterns and lines, and so over 200 immortal figures are very sophisticated with their patterns and the portrait in such details, and this shows the overall quality of traditional Chinese painting, and you can see each and every one of them in such detail. And I can feel the atmosphere that the painter wishes to convey. Well, if you go around a circle and it's over 90 meters, and so that is by length, and the height of the mural is 4.4 meters. And so this is truly a gigantic piece of painting on the wall. So this is the Qingcheng Palace, and Qingcheng is the Taoist name of Li Dongbin. And so if you go to temples across the country, when the palace carries the name of Qingcheng, it must be built in honor of Li Dongbin. And so we have a lot of murals in such palaces featuring Taoist figures, immortal beings, and mountains, and lakes and rivers. We have a series of murals that connect all the 52 legendary stories in Taoism. So this is where the movie cast a scene, and so you can see the photo at the bottom is from the movie, and the photo at the top is the original mural. So look how similar these two drawings are. And at the Qingcheng Palace, we have another part of the mural, and this is the 8 immortals crossing the sea. And so in that palace, it's not so vivid. It's only very abstract. And so in that painting, they featured 8 male immortal beings, and there's no female figure, as demonstrated in that movie. So, to present you a clearer look, and this is the 80 models crossing the sea from the murals. So why don't you give us more information? Well, you can see that this is well preserved, and take a look at the color, and the color has not changed over the years, and this is Han Zhongli, and everybody knows him very well, and he's a very relaxed figure. And then to his right, Liu Dongbin. So Liu Dongbin is always such a heavenly figure, and he is holding his sword in his hand, and Tie Guai, and you can see that he is blowing out the heavenly air from his mouth. And Cao Guojiu, very obvious, and Zhang Guolao, Nancai, Han Xiangzi, and the one playing the music instrument is Xu Xianweng. And in the operas of Ma Zhiyuan in Yuan Dynasty, we had a clear description of the 8 figures, and you can also find these 8 figures in the murals in this palace. So over the years, the story has been evolving, and in Ming Dynasty, and we see a painting led by He Xiangu, which is a female figure. So it's only here that in the murals of this palace that you can see the most original and comprehensive description of the 80 models. Well, in that movie, there might be something slightly different, but let me say that the next mural I'm going to show you is a 100% reconstructed in that movie. So take a look at this one, and so this is preserved in the back wall of the Yongle Palace. And in this mural, you can see Liu Dongbin and Han Zhongli, and you can see the dressed casually in purple, and you can see his eyes staring at Liu Dongbin, and he's putting one of his hands on the stone, and see Liu Dongbin how respectful and humble he is. He is seated upright, and take a look at the beautiful lines of his clothing, and take a look also at the stark contrast of the colors of their clothing, and behind them are waterfalls in the color of white. So the lines, the patterns, the colors are second to none. So now I know why the movie directors and production team came here to gain inspiration. And so after the movie went viral, and so Yongle Gong has become very popular and sought after, and to my knowledge, at one single day, you could attract over 4,000 visitors, and you have therefore introduced a number of culturally creative products to tailor to the taste of the visitors. And since the movie has gone viral, the palace has produced a number of culturally creative products, and you can see this is the mural retransformed, and so you can also see the wooden boards hung at different gates, and also the important figures highlighted here in this palace and also in that movie. And these are the wooden boards, the entrance gate. And also I can see there are some fridge magnets and other products. And also in the temple, you can even have some hands-on experience of drawing. And I apologize that for the sake of cultural relic preservation, I could not show you the real murals. And I hope that you can one day come here yourself and take a closer look at how this place has inspired the movie. And all right, that's all from Yuncheng of Shanxi Province.